We are live from the winter meetings, wrapping up what's taking place. A lot of people out today. Ken Rosenthal, Joel Sherman are still in the lobby as of now. Most people aren't. We'll try to go back later. I'm Julian Gallardi.
I'm Bobby Thompson.
And we're going to break down what's taken place over the last few days. A couple things we missed, but there's something at the forefront today that I've tweeted about. I know everyone wants to know about Josh Hader and the Yankees. That's the top story right now, and then we're going to go to the Rendon deal, winners and losers, a bunch of other stuff. Bobby, so I'll ask you, I know you've been looking at this stuff as well. What type of trade do you think it would take to get Hader from the Brewers, and also do you think it's a move the Yankees should make?
I think it will definitely help out the bullpen, absolutely. To be quite honest with you, I'm not really sure what they would have to offer. Maybe get Andujar involved, maybe somehow, and maybe one of the guys in the farm system. Maybe Chance Adams. Maybe I think you need somebody better than that, but something in that vicinity. But yes, it's a deal the Yankees should make, especially if they're not going to bring back Dylan Betances. It just solidifies that already crazy bullpen already. So I think it's something they should definitely consider doing and pursue heavily.
Yeah, so I'll add to what you said, and I think Andujar is a necessity to get Hader. I also think it might even take Delby Garcia, and it could be Estan Florio, Albert Abreu, Luis Medina, and we got Gil as well, Luis Gil, and all of these. I think it takes at least 4 players, and I think they need to be pretty significant. But if you do a package of, let's say, Andujar and Garcia, I think you can get away with some minor prospects maybe. Maybe like Abreu or Gil or something like that. I don't think you'd have to go too much deeper if you put those two in it, but it's going to be a big haul for the Brewers if they do this. It seems to be worth their while. Hader's under control for 4 years. He's not costing much. He's an absolute beast. He won NL Reliever of the Year last season. He had 138 strikeouts. The season before, 143 strikeouts. Averaged around 80 innings pitched. Almost 300 strikeouts. It's unheard of. It's unprecedented what he's been doing. Only walked 20 batters this season. ERA of 2.6. He was 3-5. His FIP was 3.10. But Hader is legitimate. I think the concern with Milwaukee is that they have too many holes on their team. Their starting rotation isn't there. Their infield's very vacant. They're also concerned that Hader might break down, I think, because of the wear and tear on his arm the last few seasons, maybe. They just think like he can't sustain throwing that way because he has a violent motion, and he really, obviously every pitcher gives their best when they pitch it, but he really puts everything into it with his deception, his hair, the sidearm, all that stuff. But someone was saying if he coming to the Yankees, I don't think he'll be as good because he has to cut his hair, and they think that helps the deception. I thought that was pretty interesting. What do you think?
It's a different dynamic that I've never even heard of before, that he uses his hair as a way to confuse batters. But you know what? I mean, that's something, if he gets traded to the Yankees, he's going to have to deal with and kind of adjust and figure it out on the fly because, the Yankees don't allow anyone with facial hair. They don't allow anybody with long hair. It's like a military base, but, that's what you strive for, greatness. But I feel like with Hader, he's just going to have to adjust. I think he'll be fine with us no matter what. I think that, he'll figure it out. I think he'll be just fine in New York.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more, honestly. And if the Yankees need to make this move if it's possible, you would complete the best bullpen, and him over Betances could even be considered an upgrade, and it probably would be, honestly. And Betances is being linked with the Dodgers, by the way. I told you before the show. So now it's another team in the Betances sweepstakes. Dodgers, Rays, Mets, Yankees are in it, but I don't know how much in it they really are. And then you have the Phillies as well. So the Yankees bullpen would be the best ever if you do this. Last year was very good. You're talking about Ottavino. You're talking about Britton, now Hader, Chapman, Canely, Green. Jesus, how are you getting out of that? And now we have Cole to pitch deep into the game so the guys won't get tired as much anymore. This is incredible stuff. And if the Yankees get Josh Hader, I'm sorry, you better start booking your tickets for the World Series if you don't like the Yankees. If you like the Yankees, get ready, boys and girls, because we going for it. And if this move happens, this will really be the icing on the cake. This just seems like the piece that can really just make no doubt about the Yankees winning it all next season. It almost seems like the final piece of the puzzle to replace Betances. At that point, you would just need a minor lefty bat in the infield, maybe like a Shaw or Scooter, because the Yankees brought Brett Gardner back. The outfield set 1 year, $12.5 million. There's also a team option for next season, so we'll see what happens with that. Gardner had 28 homers last year, 4 wins above replacement, hit .251, 74 RBIs and 10 steals. It was a surprisingly productive season for him, and we'll have to hope he continues it this year. The problem when people talk is playoffs, but I'm hoping that by the time the playoffs roll around, the Yankees outfield will be set, Hicks will be back, maybe Tauchman will be contributing again, or they could always get something else if they need it, because they're obviously ready to go, ready to win. Also, we're still waiting to see what's going to happen with J. Happ, because I know they would love to clear that salary. Could Happ actually be part of the Hader trade? I don't know, because that would make the price even more expensive, although the Brewers desperately need a starting pitcher. So, I'm thinking that it could be possible, but if this trade actually goes down, and there's a chance it could happen today, maybe not, but we'll have to see what goes on if the Yankees can finish the deal. They've been the most aggressive team for Josh Hader. Did you get an alert for anything?
No.
Oh, I thought I might have saw something because I saw the bleacher, but we're going to have to see if the Yankees can pull this off. I think it's a move worth making. I would give up Delby Garcia and Andujar, and I would give up Abreu, Florial. Just give it all up. Empty the farm. Let's go win this World Series.
Yeah, do what you got to do.
So, other than that, we got Rendon news. What did you think of the Rendon deal? 7 years, $245 million. Scott Boras continues to clean up at these winter meetings. $245 for Strauss, $245 for Rendon, $324 for Cole. He's just under $900 million. The guy's absolutely incredible. This winter meetings has been historic. There has never been a time that we've had 3 big deals go down like this within consecutive days, basically, all in one place. It's really incredible. I honestly still can't believe this all happened while we were here.
Yeah, it's a big deal. 7 years, $245. Outbid the Rangers, who were going to go 6 for just under $200. So the Angels lost out on Garrett Cole. They went out and focused on Rendon, and they ended up getting him. And he's a great player to match with Mike Trout in that lineup. It's a great signing. And yes, going to Scott Boras, he really is one of the greatest agents of all time in any sport. He knows what to get. He knows what's best for his clients. He gets them all the best deals, the highest paid deals. He's really, truly one of the best out there. He really is.
Yeah, so he's incredible. He really is. Like you said, he's one of the best in the game. We got to see him do press conferences. We didn't thought about asking questions, but we were just a little didn't want to get in trouble. We were in there. We were around everything, but we were being careful. We didn't want to push our luck with anything. So we've got to see him talk. It was great, and he's done a great job. He's the best agent in sports right now, I'll say.
Yeah, he is. Definitely is. Him and Drew Rosenhaus, yeah, they're 2 of the best.
And he got more money for all of them than I think anyone thought those contracts were going to look like, honestly. Rendon actually was the closest one, I would say, that I estimated. Cole, I thought 8 for $300. I was surprised we went 9 for $324, but we did what we had to do, and I couldn't be more thrilled. So we speak about Boras and Cole. Those are 2 big winners in the winter meetings. Strasburg's a winner. Rendon's a winner. Yankees winners. Let's go through some winners, then we'll go middle ground losers. Angels. How do you feel? I mean, they missed out on Cole, but they get Anthony Rendon. I'd still consider them a winner just based on that. What do you think?
I agree 100%. I think they're definitely winners. They go out and get a very, very great player who could help out for the next 7 years. They lost out on a pitcher, which they desperately need. However, they got Rendon, and I still think that there's room to do a little bit more. Not the big stuff, because they have to pay Trout $413 million over the next 13 years, and then now they got to pay $245 to Rendon. So I think they could get somebody, a starter, a low-tier starter who could maybe help out. So yeah, they're definitely a winner. I consider them definitely a winner. They got one of the best free agents out there. That's a win.
Yeah, and I'm going to go through Rendon a little bit more. He had 6.3 wins above replacement, and I think it's a win for sure as well. 34 homers, hit 319, 128 RBIs. The guy just produces all the time. And then you look at this playoff run, 3 homers, 15 ribbies, hit around 333, and he's just a beast. Him and Pujols together are going to be scary. The Angels lineup is now very powerful. It's one of the best in the game. They just need a few more pieces to help it, but it's very close. The problem is their starting pitchers. I think Ryu, Keiko, and Bumgarner all need to be on the Angels' radar, and I really think that the Angels need to bolster that staff.
Yeah, agreed. They do. They definitely need to do something. All those pitchers that are out there, like the low-tier guys, like as you just said, should definitely be on their radar and should have a job within days.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think you're going to start to see those names fly off the board. There's also Castellanos and Ozuna out there still. Very interested to see what's going to end up happening with them. And they're just floating out there right now. But I agree. Angels are a big winner. And I think the Phillies did a decent job getting Didi Gregorius. I mean, and could they end up getting Betances maybe? That would help me. That would make me feel they were winners even more. And I think it's a great. Also, Nationals, I'll say, are a winner for at least getting Strasburg back. We didn't expect them to get Rendon back, so they did what they had to and kept the pitching staff informed. Is there any other teams that stood out to you that thought made big strides this week?
Honestly, you know what? I think that all those teams you said were basically the big-time winners who made signings. There's a lot of losers, in my opinion, more than winners. So, like you said, the Phillies definitely got Didi Gregorius, helps them out too. And they're not done. They're going to still continue to make some moves. So,
I don't know what this is, but anyway, yeah, the Phillies have more work to do. I agree. They need another starting pitcher, maybe some bullpen help. They just and maybe another infielder potential. Unless they put Kingery in the infield, then they can work their outfield a different way. And we look at losers now. We transition. How about the Dodgers? White Sox, even though they get Nomar Mazara, which is a good trade, but they still don't have the starting pitching they need. Dodgers whiff on the big plays of Rendon and Cole. They were very well. They was known they were in both. They did not come away with either. But I think one of the biggest losers actually is the Texas Rangers, because they also came away with nothing, and they're trying to open up a new ballpark. And I thought, and I know you were with me on this, that the Rangers were going to end up with Rendon. And the Angels swooping in, trading Cozart, opening up that space and taking Rendon from the Rangers in their own division. Rangers, big-time losers, one of the biggest ones of the weekend, I think.
Yep, definitely. You thought that they would be competitive for Rendon. There was talks about it for months now that's where he was going to end up. And they were in it, but their offer was just completely lowballing, for a team that's, like you said, opening a new ballpark, trying to establish something. You want to start it off with a player like of his caliber. And, when you're in negotiations and, there's teams like that, you really got to stand out. They didn't stand out. 6 years, just under $200 million. That's kind of a slap in the face to Rendon, in my opinion. I know Rendon got a lot of money, and maybe some people weren't expecting him to get that much. However, I feel that the Rangers definitely should have at least offered him at least 7 for like 2. Be competitive, at least like
right.
Not 245, offer him for 225 or something like that. Why not?
You actually could have put the choice in his hands if you made a little more money, but 6 for 200 is a slap in the face for him when he's being offered 7 for 245. No one's going to take that big of a discount, even if it's to go back home. The Rangers just dropped the ball, honestly. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, because it's not like they were going to use the money somewhere else. So who's the other big money contract the Rangers are going to sign?
Nobody.
Yeah, so I don't get it, really. They have a lot of work they need to do. I also think there's still a spot for Andujar, potentially, because they're in the third base market. Josh Donaldson's market's starting to heat up, and I also heard the Rangers are out on him. So I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with the Rangers right now.
Yeah, they got to definitely figure it out. I do think that the Andujar trade, I think that they will definitely talk about that with Brian Cashman and the Yankees within the next upcoming at least month, because free baseball, it's December. It's in 2 months from now, spring training starts. So they're going to really definitely figure that out, and I definitely see that Andujar being a guy who could really excel for that team. Maybe they could build something around him. We never know.
Yeah, I mean, he could really be a help. I think he'd be a great Ranger, honestly. Got Beltre there to coach him up. I could see him being a monster for the Rangers. I think if the Yankees can't do this Hader trade, because I think Andujar's required to get Hader. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Because they need a third baseman too, and has a very good bat. Obviously, the defense needs work, but he's very appealing to teams. He's very young. He's a good player. So if they can't do that, I think Texas is the perfect spot to send him, honestly. Maybe the only thing is I'm not sure what we would get in return. There's not really an infielder or a lefty bat. I don't really think that could fit the Yankees' needs. And could they go for Mike Minor just to make the starting rotation even better? Or like even Lance Lynn, believe it or not, as crazy as that sounds. Or maybe Leclerc, the relief pitcher, because the Yankees are in the market for another relief pitcher. They will get one more relief pitcher. It's just a question of who and when and what's going on with Dylan Betances. I also have some news about Hyun-Jin Ryu. The Braves have checked in on Ryu. Cardinals are in on Keuchel. Look for the Cardinals to get involved in the starting pitching market.
Really?
Yes, they're very active. And I think they might even be one of the teams on Bumgarner.
Oh, wow.
Remember the Bumgarner, and also the Dodgers are in on Bum. That would be a fascinating switch if that ends up happening.
Yeah, that would be something.
So, we look through more losers. The Red Sox, what are you guys doing? You ain't doing nothing. You're just staying in the same place. Don't have the payroll issues. Although David Price, his name has came up in trade talks. A lot of teams want Price. White Sox, Reds, Angels, Cardinals, Padres. Reds I don't understand at all. The other ones make perfect sense to me. The Reds have 4 solid starters, and I don't understand why they would want to take on Price's contracts. I mean, I guess it would make the rotation that much better. But in that ballpark, it's definitely a gamble to me. Although some pitchers can pitch well there, but Price, I'm not sold on him. I really think he's very overrated. Yankees have his number, you know that as well as I do. And do you think any of these trades could happen, or do you think the Red Sox will be stuck with Price? He's owed $96 million over the next 3 years.
It's going to be tough to off him to somebody else. That's a lot of money, and I don't think he's contributed. He hasn't been what they're paying him to do in a very long time. I don't see him, when he gets traded, I don't see the benefit in any team trading for somebody like him. I don't think he's that good anymore, to be quite honest with you. So, in my opinion, it's going to be tough. But, is it possible? Yes, but trying to find somebody take on that contract that he has is going to be a bit of a problem due to his lack of production, especially last year.
Yeah, man, I agree with that 100%. The only thing I would say that I could see him being a fit for the Padres, White Sox, or Angels. I think those 3 make sense because they need anyone. They need bodies in that starting rotation. So he could still contribute, I feel like. But is he going to be top-notch? Is he an ace? No, he's not. He's not what he's being paid to do. And the Red Sox would probably have to pay some of that money to offset that. I don't think they could just send him off packing without picking up any of the money.
Nope, not at all.
And then I also think the Indians were a big loser. We heard all this stuff about Lindor and Kluber. No action from the Indians. They still have a lot of weaknesses. They don't seem very content to try. They seem content, and they don't really seem like they're trying to make themselves better. The Twins have also not done much, but they're in a better spot than the Indians right now. I think they end up with one of the 3 starters, Keuchel, Ryu, or Bumgarner potentially. And actually, the biggest loser we haven't talked about, Houston Astros.
Big time losers, absolutely. Yeah. From their cheating scandal to no one wanting to go there, they just, they were the mystery team in on Cole. Obviously, we all know he was not going back there.
No, it was never going to happen.
So, they're big time losers. And now they're also looking to trade Carlos Correa. So, there's a lot of issues down there in Houston, and they definitely have a problem. So,
yeah, and we take Cole off of their team.
Yeah, we took him away. So now he joined us, Now he'll be going up against them, and we'll be the beneficiaries of that.
Yeah, the Astros are in a bad spot, and AJ Hinch also did not look very good answering the questions with the cheating allegations. He was sweating, and he really didn't have any good answers. He kind of just took the fifth on it. It's like, I can't talk about it since like it's being investigated. I'm not going to really get into what I said. So the Astros are a big time loser because no one wants to sign with them, as we've seen so far. Their payroll's up by 200. This was why we didn't think Cole will be back. They can't pay three pitchers $100 million. That just, you can't do that. It's insanity. Also, Correa, the trades, I'm not sure if they're going to actually do it, but I'm curious as to why they would consider it. Maybe they're trying to open up payroll, or do you think they're trying to trade for a starter to replace for Garrett Cole?
I think that they are, the money situation's a problem. I think they are definitely going to try to replace Garrett Cole. They got Greinke, Verlander, but they need somebody else to because their other starters are serviceable, but definitely lost one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, man. The Astros are still going to be competitive. They're still second in the World Series odds behind the Yankees, who are now the favorites with Garrett Cole. So they have some work to do. They'll get McCullers back. They're going to have to hope some guys from their system step up. They're going to need some new contributions in the rotation because that's a big void to fill, losing Garrett Cole. You don't just replace someone like that.
No, you don't. You definitely don't replace somebody like that. It's going to take a lot to replace a pitcher of his caliber.
Yeah, so I think they're one of the biggest losers. Do any other teams stick out to you that could have done more, didn't do enough, you were looking for more? How do you feel about the Mets, what they did?
No, they go get Rick Porcello. They give him 10 years over a year. 1 year, $10 million. I thought that they would be more aggressive, honestly, especially since now they're getting a new owner. So I thought they would do a little bit more. They still have time to do more, but with some of the moves they've made, I'm not really like. They also didn't they get Michael Wacha?
Yes, they got Wacha.
Yeah, so maybe just a little bit more. I thought they'd do a little bit more.
You know what? The thing is, like, the Mets, you don't know how they're really working with, although they don't want to go over the first luxury tax tier of $208 million. So I think that's why you're not seeing the aggressive big move. Unfortunately, for Mets fans, nothing's changing yet with the way they're spending their payroll, despite what the transaction that took place. It's going to take a few years of an adjustment period. They say 5 years. I think that won't take that long, because the Wilpons still have control for 5 years technically as a title. But, well, how much will they be doing? I'm not sure. But this offseason, I'm almost positive the Mets will not go over that $208 million.
I don't expect that either.
So that's why it's been very low. So do you have any other teams that stood out to you as losers?
Not really, actually. I mean, well,
go ahead.
No, I'm not really sure, actually, to be quite honest with you.
Oh, I thought you had someone.
Well, no, I don't, so.
Tampa Bay, I think, is a loser because they are now even more distanced than from us since we got Cole. The trade they made to get rid of Pham was a little bit questionable. I mean, they got good value for him, but it's not like a win-now move. Tampa always does this stuff, though. They can't pay anybody because their stadium situation. So any final thoughts, reflections on what's taking place for the winter meetings, all the stuff we've been able to do, to meet in the Yes Network booth, seeing Boone, seeing Cashman, talking to Chris Maddock, Russo, all this fun stuff that we've been able to do, all these connections we've been building, out here networking, trying to establish ourselves in this industry, and we appreciate all the love and support we've been getting over the weekend. It's been a phenomenal week out here. I just can't believe all this stuff that's taking place, all the people we've exchanged information with, talked to, just a lot of valuable stuff, and I'll always remember this trip for the rest of my life. And we were here when the news broke for Garrett Cole. It was unbelievable. Honestly, we couldn't have scripted it any better. The winter meetings are always going to have a special place in my heart.
This week is definitely one for the ages. Personally for me, it's this week was definitely eye-opening. In a lot of ways, I'll tell you that. I learned a lot about a lot of people. Learned what I have to do to be successful. Who you could trust in the industry, what you could do. Who you associate yourself with. So, it was something. Spent a lot of time thinking about things, how it was going. It was cool seeing everybody here and being up close and personal. But you learn a lot once you're here. You know how hard you got to work and all that. So it's definitely one thing that this trip will definitely taught me a lot. Let's put it that way.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for this edition. We thank everyone for watching a recap of the winter meetings. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, G&T Sports Talk. YouTube is the channel, G&T Sports Talk. Twitter and Instagram, G&T Sports Talk too. We are actively looking for sponsorship. Please help us if you think we can be a good match. We're very consistent. We always put out content. We're just gaining viewers going in the right direction. I'm Julian Gallardi.
I'm Bobby Thompson.
See everyone soon and hope you enjoyed our coverage of the winter meetings.